Are these cards truly mint? Stick around and find out. What's up, wrestling fans, trading card collectors? Welcome to another episode of Wrestling with Cards. Today's video is actually a request. That's right, Patreon member request. From Patreon member HF69, who is a Wrestling with Cards Patreon member at the mid-carder tier. Members of my Patreon at this tier are able to request video topics each month. So for today's video, you can thank HF69 for this topic. If you would like to request a video topic, check the links in the show notes to Wrestling with Cards on Patreon, where you can personally get involved with the content that's produced on this channel. Danbury Mint. Not exactly the company you would associate with wrestling cards, right?
And charge your account just $29.50 a month plus shipping for 3 months. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. Call now to bring back those precious memories.
In fact, if you head over to their website right now, yes, that's true. Believe it or not, they are still in business. You will find they have a nice selection of upscale items, handbags, jewelry, home decor, and much more. That just all screams pro wrestling, right? Danbury Mint in the 90s was one of those companies you would see in mail catalogs. Memory serves, I think you'd see them on QVC or Home Shopping Network.
Only have a limited number that we can ship out right now. Everybody wants this ladder to the ceiling. Uh-oh.
They would always have those collector's editions, Queen such and such or President whatever plate that was gold plated, 24 karat gold. You gotta have these collectibles. While you're here, let's buy these President Beanie Babies. You know, those kind of companies.
Difficult time getting right now is the year 2000. When we gotta go... Jeez, that's the second time I've done that.
It seemed like they were a company that would kind of follow a hot trend and jump on it. Or maybe there was a IP that was really popping and they jump on that and just start pumping out collectibles, rare collector's editions. Of course they weren't.
Well, that's not our problem. What do you have coming up that's going to be exciting and wonderful?
So what comes to mind of something that was collectible and also kind of popular in the 90s? Let's go back to baseball cards. Danbury Mint produced a bunch of these in the 90s. Remember, these are the baseball cards that everybody thought were going to put their kids through college if they stocked up on them enough.
Look, it's one thing to get the 89 tops, Mike Schmidt. They're out there. But you know what? Take a look at the Mike shit.
Oh yeah, and don't forget, everything in the 90s had to be the collector's edition and had to be gold, especially 22 karat, 24 karat gold-plated.
Burger King has limited edition gold-plated trading cards from Pokemon, each with every tasty Burger King Big Kids meal you buy.
I experienced these baseball cards firsthand. One of my grandmas actually fell into this trap. I'm pretty sure Don West is the guy who was pushing her to buy these things.
We've got a deal, we've got a set deal that we're going to do for just a few people that is one of those that absolutely makes no sense whatsoever. None.
We do a lot of those.
She signed up and had a lot of these Danbury Mint baseball cards ordered for me every few months or so. I can't remember at the time what those retailed for, but I can almost guarantee you with 100% surety that they are not worth anything close to that today. But what else got hot in the 90s? There were a lot of really hot collector's items, a lot of IPs that were really going off. What is something that Danbury Mint could sink their teeth into and get people to give Don West those credit cards? Oh wait, I know. Pro wrestling.
I'm going to wrestling. Going to wrestling.
The Attitude Era was in full effect and Danbury Mint struck while the iron was hot. These WWFE, we'll get into that in a minute, wrestling cards from Danbury Mint were produced from 1999 through 2005. I said earlier I did have the baseball cards. I never did get any of the wrestling cards. But according to WrestlingTradingCards.com, the cards were right around $10 a piece and they would produce 4 of them every few months. There was 120 cards in the complete set, but there are some variations, with most of them being that WWF got the F out. So some of these cards and the binders, yes, they also produced specific personalized binders that you could get to put these cards in. Some have the WWF logo. Some have the newer WWE logo, which is maybe an interesting chase if you want to get into these cards, trying to find those variations. I mentioned binders that you could order. The binders also contained specially designed sheets to put these cards in, which, speaking of that, this is kind of interesting. The cards themselves were standard trading card size. However, they were sealed in this plastic container thing that's similar to a top loader. However, it was completely enclosed, so it's a little bit thicker. So these sheets that you would have to put these cards in these top loader things, they're very interesting. It's as if They thought these 24 karat gold cards were so big and going to be worth so much money, they needed an extra layer of protection for both the card and the card sleeve. I mentioned they were gold. These were embossed cards. You guys know I've covered the 1994 Action Packed, and I've talked about a little bit about the 1999 WCW Topps embossed. They're raised off the card a little bit. There's also a 3D set from the 80s that WWF put out. They're larger cards. But, you know, the pictures of the wrestlers are just kind of raised up off of the card itself. It's not a flat card. That's how these are. And then, of course, they're covered with 22 karat gold foil because, you know, it's the 90s. That's what we do. So what exactly is the deal with these Danbury Mint wrestling cards? Well, that's exactly what HF69 from Patreon wanted to know. So let's look at a few of his questions. They cost $10 each 20 years ago, and many can be had for that or less today. Unfortunately, this is the same issue that a lot of the 90s collectibles had. Most of the stuff was so mass-produced, and the supply way outweighed the demand. Speaking of that, I'm not sure there were ever actually print runs released for these. I know they only did a few cards per month, like 4 cards earlier per month, but were these like an on-demand service? You know, like, I know you could put in a subscription, you know, and you'd get them sent every month. So did they only print the amount that people had subscribed to? What if there were new subscribers coming in halfway? Did they add those to the mix? Were these printed to oblivion and they just had to hope that they had enough subscribers to sell them? Not really sure. If anyone out there watching this has any information on the print runs of these things or how they were produced as far as like on demand, or if they just had a stack of them in a warehouse somewhere, leave a comment below and let the community and myself know more about the print runs on these things. Linda McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, R-Truth, or K-Quick in this situation, first cards. Taz's first card, if you don't count the Just Toys Bend-Em. Crash Holly's first card. In the running for Rhino, Steven Richards. And there was a couple other names that he mentioned when we were going back and forth in the chat. As he stated, a lot of these bigger name stars in wrestling, if you're a wrestling fan, you know them, a lot of their first or rookie cards could be potentially found in this set. And I say potentially because there are some technicalities here within the realm of first and rookie cards. You know that. And trust me, I hate these technicalities. But I see it all the time, every single day, from all the wrestling card collectors on social media platforms. Consistently arguing and debating print runs, grades, grading companies, rookie cards, etc. So I thought I'd better address that with this question. For these Danbury Mint cards, if you're looking for first cards or rookie cards, the key factor to these is going to be looking at the back of the card and finding out what exactly is the print date on the card. When you're looking for these cards or researching, there's a lot of platforms out there that list these cards as 99 through 2005. So you may have an X-Pac card, and, you know, listing, it might say 99 to 05. Well, no, that's not the case. It's going to have a specific year printed on the back, you know. They couldn't tell in the future on the back of these cards and put dash 2005. I mean, they didn't even know they were going to be around in 2005. Really, this would be like if you took a modern day WWE Topps card and listed it on eBay or whatever platform you wanted to as 2012 through 2020. It's just not very sensible. These Danbury Mint cards clearly have dates printed on the backs of them, so just be mindful and look carefully for those. And then, as always, make sure you cross-reference that with WrestlingTradingCards.com, where they have the complete checklist for these cards. And then compare those cards with other cards that you can find on WrestlingTradingCards.com. Look at whatever the earliest year is, and bam, there you go. That could be their first card or their rookie card. What are some reasons these things get no love, and are they a potential gold mine? A great observation and statement here by HF69. But there's another observation that I want to touch on here. Pretty good set comprised of all of the talent from the Attitude Era, WWF, WCW, ECW, minus the guys that went to NWA, TNA. Definitely not getting enough love. This was a very special time period in professional wrestling. You only had one major company at the time, but at that time, you had all, well, I couldn't say all, most of the big names from all of those other big companies, ECW, WCW, some of the other, I guess, bigger indies at the time, which indies weren't a huge thing in the 90s like they are now, but there were still some more popular ones out there, and WWF had kind of absorbed a lot of those. From a set perspective, I really think the names in this Danbury Mint WWF card set are fantastic. So if you're a set collector, this may be something you want to target just based off the names in the set and the time period. But there are a couple of things that I think this wrestling card set really have going against it. First being the aesthetic. In my opinion, these cards are extremely ugly. Sure, I like embossed cards, and the images that you can see on these cards, if you can see them, that's what I'm getting to, they're okay, but the way that the cards are designed with that gold on top of it, it just leaves a lot of the details of the picture missing. Some of the facial features and who's doing what move on the card, some of that's really hard to tell. And while gold limited numbered parallels rule the world in the modern shiny card hobby that we're currently in, I don't see too many people clamoring for 22 or 24 karat gold cards. Could this be a buying opportunity? Possibly. Another opportunity might be, in fact, grading them. I've seen a few slabs pop up here and there, autographed, maybe it was just authenticated in DNA by PSA. Some of them are actually graded. In fact, some of the ones I've seen graded aren't exactly mint. See what I did there? Oh no, you don't like it? Stick to wrestling cards? Okay, alright, we got this. False advertising, I say. But in all seriousness, I just have to wonder if this is going to be one of those wrestling card sets that people just don't care about. Now that could change, of course, but the hobby is all about demand. And at this current time of recording, there really is none for these. That could be due to there not being any chase cards in this set, autographs, relics, or any of the usual cards that wrestling card collectors and people within the hobby are chasing after. It also could be because of the bad taste left in collectors' mouths of buying products from Danbury Mint and other companies out there that put out these limited, air quotes, of course, collector's edition products that, aren't worth a dime today.
If you don't pick this up, I'll kill you.
He did mention that on a forum post from 2012, there was approximately 25 cents to 50 cents of gold in each card. So I stand corrected. Apparently they are worth more than a dime.
That was stupid. It ain't gonna draw a dime.
Now, some of the possible first or rookie cards that I had talked about earlier in this video, I think if somebody really wants to put in the work and digs into these, and based on the years printed on the back, some of these cards are, in fact, the first or rookie cards with some of the talent in this set, then you may have an opportunity there. This may drive up the interest. We've seen this with card sets in the past. Prime example, look at the 1997 Panini stickers. They've been out there forever. All of a sudden, people discovered that could be The Rock's first pack pullable product, as well as that Panini brand. Product takes off. Same thing could happen with these if, in fact, somebody does determine that Wrestler X, not Mr. X, but, insert wrestler's name here. This is, in fact, their first card based on the dates, based on other checklists, according to WrestlingTradingCards.com and according to a trading card database or whatever else you're going to reference. If that happens, you may see the demand and prices shoot up with this card set. Once again, I want to say thank you wholeheartedly to HF69, Patreon member of Wrestling with Cards at the mid-card level. Thank you for the topic, and thank you for being a member of Wrestling with Cards Patreon. If you would like to become a member of the Wrestling with Cards Patreon community, check the links below in the show notes where you will find all the information about the different tiers you can subscribe to and the perks that you get with each one. Thanks everybody for watching today. Hit the subscribe button, give me a like, and let me know in the comments, what do you think of this set? Do you have some of these cards? Do you have a definitive answer to print runs? Do you have a definitive answer to what cards in this set are technically the first or rookie cards? Share it with the community. Let's get a conversation going about these. Also, while you're down there and you're checking the links to Patreon, you can check out all the other links I've got below, all the stuff I'm involved with, the podcast, social media links, all of that fun stuff. But in the meantime, click the videos on the screen for more great wrestling card content. We'll see you there.